Welcome back. It is day 2, lesson 2 of Saxon math. This is multiplying and dividing whole numbers and money, as well as some fact families. Part 2, just a review from our continuation of yesterday's fact families. Let's get right into it. So if you have, for example, 67 plus 67 plus 67 plus 67 plus 67 equaling 335, you know that you can take 67 times 5. So these 5 67s are the two factors. 67 is the number, and then there's 5 of those. If you were to multiply that out, you end up with the product. The product is the answer to a multiplication problem. In the cumulative property of multiplication, you would know that that applies in addition, but it means that any order of those factors will work. So I could say that 67 being second instead of first will still result in 335 as the answer, or the product of that multiplication problem. So the cumulative property of multiplication is that you can switch those around. It can be 67 times 5 equaling 335, or the other direction. If we were to find the cost of 2 dozen pencils at 35 cents each, all you need to do is realize that you have 2 dozen, which is the number. You have to know how many are in 1 dozen to know how many are in 2 dozen. And you know that that's 24 pencils. If each one of those is 35 cents, you can use this information to determine that 35 cents times 24 will result in your answer to what the cost will be in pennies, how many cents it will be for all of those 2 dozen pencils. So first of all, I've got 5 times 4 is 20. This would be 12 plus 2, which would be 14. This is 10. So I'm going to put the 0 right below that 2. Carry the 1 up here. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And I have to add those up. I get 0, 4, 8. So 840 cents. 840 cents is how much it is, which is the same as $8.40. That's 840 pennies is the same as $8.40. Just looking at these properties here, if you have the identity property of multiplication, that states that if one of 2 factors is 1, the product equals the other factor. So if you have 15 times 1, that equals 15. It could also, it's basically anything, any number times 1 is going to be equal to that number. The answer to that product, or that multiplication problem, is a product, will be whatever number is placed in this position. So it could be 88. 88 times 1, what's the product? It's going to be 88. Identity property of multiplication. 0 property of multiplication is that if one of the 2 factors is 0, then the product is going to be 0. So anytime you have one of those factors being 0, then the answer is going to be 0. Even if we went even further than 2 factors, if we made it 3 factors, if it's like 2 times 4 times 0, the answer is still going to be 0, because 2 times 4 is 8, but 8 times 0 is 0. So in the end, you're still going to end up with 0. So the 0 property of multiplication really applies to 2 or more factors. If one of them is 0, then the answer, the product, is going to be 0. So let's try that. So if you have 400 times 874, You could reverse the order of these factors. That's what I like to do. I like to change this to 874 times 400, and I like to hang those zeros off the end. And if I do that, then I can recognize that all I need to do is move these two zeros straight down in my answer. And now all I have left, since I've done that, is 4 times these digits. So 4 times 4 is 16. And I carry the 1. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 1 makes 29. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 2 more is 34. So this one would be 349,600. Okay, let's look at this. So when we divide it, we separate a number into a certain number of equal parts we divide. We can indicate division with a division symbol like this, a division box like this one, or a division bar like this. Each expression means, for example, this would be, you could say 24 divided by 2 is what that means. We know what that would be as an answer. We could have 24 divided by 2 like this, or you could have 24 divided by 2 like this. So here's where you would place the answer in this one. This would be where the answer is for this one, and so forth. So the answer to a division problem, you can see, is quotient. So the answer to a division problem is called a quotient. The number that you're dividing, the thing that you're splitting up, is the dividend, and the divisor is the number that the dividend, the number of numbers or groups that the dividend is being divided into. So for example, the dividend here is 24. It's being divided into 2 equal parts, which are 2 is the divisor, and we know that to be 12. This one would be 12, and this one would be 12. They're all 12. But you can see the dividend is in the top here above the fraction bar. And you can see that the divisor is in the denominator in this case. And this is the quotient. 12 is the quotient. In this case, this is the dividend. 24 is the dividend still. This is the divisor, 2. And the quotient is 12. Here you can see the dividend is 24 again. The divisor is 2, and the quotient is 12. All right, let's look at some long division and short division here. In this case, if we're going to use long division, that's just how you may have started learning division. You have 3,456 divided by 7. And 7 times what number will get us close to 3? Well, 3 doesn't work. So we're going to move over to 34. We're going to keep the 3 and combine it with the 4 to make 34. 7 times, I guess, 4 will get us to 28. We're going to subtract that. 7 times 4 is 28. 34 minus 28 is 6. And then we have to bring down this 5. So now we have 65 divided by 7, which is the same as 9. 9 times 7 is 63. Subtract that, we get 2. We have to bring down the next number. And it's not 2, it's 6. I don't know what I was thinking there. 26 divided by 7 is the same as, closest we can get is 3, which will get us to 21. If we said 4, it would have been 28. That's too much. It has to be below the 26. So 26 minus 21 is 5. So that means our remainder is 5. In the future, we're going to have remainders are going away, but for now, you can continue writing remainders. The only time remainders would be valid is if you're considering like something that can't be split, like people, for example. If you can't split people and you want to see how many groups of people you should have, If you have 3,456 people and you need to know how many groups you can split up evenly, you could have 493 even groups, and there will be one group of 5. This 493 groups, they'll all have 7 in them, but there'll be one left, one group by itself that has 5 instead of 7. So that would be the only reason why you'd want to use remainders. In the future, we're going to get rid of remainders. So keep that in mind too. But let's look at what short division looks like here. If you do short division, 3,456. I like to give myself a little space because with short division, you're actually going to do all the math, but you're going to do it mentally. And you basically you're doing the same thing. 34 divided by 7 is 4, but that's 28. So instead of writing 28, I'm going to take 34 minus 28 mentally. So can you do 34 minus 28? The answer to that is 6. Where do we write the answer to that? Right here. I put a little 6 here. And now I'm moving over. I'm now taking 65, just like we had over here. You see this 65 right here? Now I have 65 right here. Now I'm going to take 65 divided by 7, and I get 9. Why is it 9? Because 9 times 7 is 63. What's 65 minus 63? 63. 7 times 9 is 63. That's 2 away from that. I'm going to write 2 there. Now I have 26, just like I did over here. See, 26 is there. Now I have 26 right here. 26 divided by 7, the closest thing is 3. And that would be 5 away from 26. So the remainder of 5. That's short division. All short division is some mental math. So you're going to do the subtraction in mental math with short division. Long division just means you're not doing mental math. You're going to show your work. Short division is more mental math. You only show your work by writing these little numbers here, and then you finish it out. All right, let's rearrange these numbers in this multiplication fact to form another multiplication fact and 2 division facts. So if you start with 5 times 12 equals 60, that's what we're starting with. I'm going to write another multiplication fact. 12 times 5 equals 60. Okay, let's see what these facts are. Multiplication is the inverse of division, and what's this one? Division is the inverse of multiplication. So those important facts. All right, not sure why those are on there, but I guess those are important facts to know. They're not really relevant to us right now other than, hey, we're going to do some division problems here. So 60 divided by 12 is 5, and 60 divided by 5 is 12. So I have this fact. I've got 3 more facts here. This is 2 division facts. And then I have the original multiplication fact and the other multiplication fact that I created. All right, when you get to number 30, it's asking you this question. How can you check the correctness of a division answer that has no remainder? Well, you can check it by multiplying the quotient by the divisor, and you should get the dividend. So, for example, here's the dividend here, here's the divisor, here's the quotient. Check your answer by taking 3 times 4, and if you get the dividend, like we did here, then you've got the correct answer. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay, so just do the inverse operation. All right, so that's it for today on that lesson. In the future, we're going to be using Edpuzzle to help you answer these questions. Don't forget to answer the practice problems here in your Go Formative. And then those will be questions in the practice set on page 16, and it'll be A through H. A through H. Go ahead and answer those now.